All right, let's talk about what's going on for New York sessions, and then what I see. What's this? Oh, what I see coming up for later on for Tokyo. So we're here looking at USD JPY, and it did hit the TP of 111.5. Now our next target would be 111.856, based on the 1 hour time frame. Now on the 4 hour time frame, your next target would be 111.7 and then 112. So it's kind of different based on the 4 hour. So I'm just hopping back on the 1 hour because I'm looking for more candlestick movement, and I'm looking to see how much more further they're going to retrace this down for New York sessions. And so, and if it, like I said, it did the retracement down here at 11.35. That's the best time to do another buy position. I'm looking to see how much this is going to retrace down, and then from there set another buy position, and then get ready for the next uptrend. That's pretty much all I got here for USD JPY. Now for gold, let's look at gold here on the 1 hour chart. Gold did come down to 1207, found support back, and it's trying to come back to 1212. And so that's where the initial fell, right here, the initial sell-off that started here, going back down to 1207. And then we see the next resistance that started here last night at 1217 and went all the way down to 1207. It's a $10 drop. So I'm looking for another $10 drop. So a $10 drop would cause this to break the 1204 price back down to tap 1200. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Just gotta wait it out, and I'm not scalping anything, so I still have some positions from last night that I held through. Let's see here. US dollar going back down. It did come back to 95.5, and we are looking for it to come back to test 96. And so let me show you guys. So this is the daily candle here. This is the 4 hour candle structure. You can see that the resistance here at 95.47. I am not looking at this as a double top whatsoever. And so by all means, all I'm doing is just following the same pattern from what I'm seeing. I mean, you gotta, like I said, the dollar was going up last night. The dollar went up, finally picked up its pace during London sessions, and it's got to do a pullback New York sessions. Very rare does it ever go straight in 3 sessions on an uptrend. You rarely ever see that. I mean, it does happen, but it's pretty rare to see that. So when a currency goes up for 2 sessions in a row from Tokyo to London, you have to expect a retracement during New York sessions. It could be a massive retracement, or it could be just a little bit. So not too worried about this retracement here. It's not a reversal. We are looking to keep buying the dollar until pretty much I'm just waiting for the trade wars to be over, and I probably won't see the trade wars be over until September. And so that's pretty much all I got. Let's see, the pound is the weakest currency this whole from yesterday and today. There is a no Brexit deal that just happened, and Prime Minister Theresa May hasn't really delivered anything that's positive for the UK. So that's why the pound is under 130 right now. The pound, like I said, long term. Oh, come on, who's calling me? Like I said, long term, we are looking for the pound to hit 128, right? And maybe touch 126. before it decides to come back up. Based on the weekly chart, if you look at the weekly chart and the monthly chart, there is really no other support and resistance until we come down further down for all major pairs. Like, this is the monthly chart for the pound, and you can clearly see that it's already coming to break through this support here, all this support here. And then our next line of defense would be where it regained itself back at 122. So we could very well see a long-term sell for the pound, the euro, Australia, New Zealand, and gold until the dollar decides to reverse itself based on political events from the trade wars. That's the only thing that I'm waiting on, because non-farm payroll is not a reversal. Usually it is. GDP, retail sales, I mean, interest rate decision from the Fed, all the way from the Fed decision. I mean, nothing has caused the dollar to reverse and be a strong reversal selling the dollar. So we can't sell the dollar if the dollar is not going to sell long term. I'm looking for long-term setups. I'm not looking to scalp 5-10 pips in one day, you know. And so looking long term, like, what if we could catch 1,500 or 2,500 pips in a month, or, you know, in 2-3 weeks on that weekly trend or something. That's what I'm looking at, the most important thing. So I mean, like I said, I'm showing euro is the same setup. There is no support for euro. You can clearly see on the monthly chart, it already broke all this. So if it's breaking all this, our next line of support would be to come back to the very lowest, would be 104. I don't know if it's gonna, I really don't know how much further going to drop it down, but based on the weekly chart and the analysis on the weekly chart for euro is to come test 112 right here, all this, and then from there I don't really see anything else until we come back to 106 and 105. That's pretty much it. So I don't really see a long-term, like I said, I don't really see a long-term structure of buying euro or buying the pound or buying Australia, buying New Zealand. I mean, they've just been plummeting ever since after tax season. And so USD Swiss franc, I mean, there's a lot of resistance here for USD Swiss franc, but it hasn't decided to give up its gains. And so my next target would be the very top price here from the beginning of the year at 103, $1.03 for USD Swiss franc. USD CAD, on the other hand, USD CAD is a little bit weaker because Canada is is getting stronger again. So USD CAD might be a little bit on the back foot here, but we're looking to retest 133 again, and then come retest the highest price of 137 from last year. And then it could open doors for 140 and 145, depending on how Canada's economy is, especially with oil prices right now. Australia, like I said, long-term sell for Australia. You can clearly see this on the weekly chart. Yes, there's a lot of wicks here, but it hasn't decided to do a major reversal to switch back up. Same setup for New Zealand. Now, New Zealand is a lot weaker than Australia, so there is no point buying New Zealand. New Zealand is weaker than Australia, so looking to test 64 cents pretty much long term. And then for Australia, looking to test 71 cents to test this double support here at 71, a little bit under 72, 71.5, and then from there is the test 68.5. I'm showing you guys the weekly chart because we're on a new weekly candle, and where this weekly candle is going to be projected. And so if the dollar's weekly candle is a bull candle here, previous from Friday, then I'm looking for this to tap 96, break 96, and then tap 97, 98. And then when it comes to, like I said, to 99 and 100 is where I'm going to, because there's a gap between here that started the sell-off too. So very, very important to see where this is going. And I don't foresee a long-term sell for the dollar until the dollar decides to reverse back down. So other than that, I mean, that's all I've got for you guys. That's my analysis. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, once Tokyo hits to later on, then I'll buy UJ, I'll sell gold, I'll buy the dollar again. And I mean, just New York sessions I mean, we're still in New York sessions for another 4 hours, so you just have to be prepared for another set of retracements. And other than that, that's it. That's what I got.